Ubisoft's Great Pirate Shipwreck. If there's one thing gamers love, it's a good pirate adventure, and Ubisoft knows it. After the roaring success of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which combined swashbuckling action with naval combat, fans clamored for a standalone pirate game. Ubisoft listened, sort of, and what followed was a decade-long odyssey that veered between ambitious innovation and outright chaos.
Clever. There was a time when I thought myself the deadliest scourge of these seas. But this man...
This is the story of Skull and Bones, a game that set sail with high hopes, but found itself marooned on the rocky shores of mismanagement. Back in 2013, Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag introduced players to the golden age of piracy, immersing them in the turquoise waters of the Caribbean. The naval combat mechanics were a hit, so much so that fans immediately began dreaming of a dedicated pirate game without the Assassin's Creed baggage. Ubisoft seemed to hear those prayers when it unveiled Skull and Bones at E3 2017. The trailer promised a multiplayer pirate extravaganza, with ship customization, epic naval battles, and the chance to live out your best Jack Sparrow fantasies, minus the rum and cursed treasure. But the journey to bring Skull and Bones to life would prove anything but smooth sailing. If only Ubisoft had included a Patch the Leak minigame to prepare us for what was coming.
Only, don't meddle in his private affairs. For there's more mystery to that man than even I dare ask.
The seed for Skull and Bones was planted in 2013 when Ubisoft Singapore, fresh off its work on Black Flag, began developing a multiplayer expansion for the game. However, the studio's naval combat expertise and multiplayer aspirations caught the attention of Ubisoft's higher-ups. What began as a modest online mode quickly morphed into an ambitious standalone project, dubbed Black Flag Infinite. Unfortunately, this pivot came with complications. Black Flag's aging technology, designed for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 era, couldn't support the grand vision Ubisoft had in mind. So, the project was rebranded as Skull and Bones, with a new mandate: create an entirely original IP centered on pirate-themed ship combat. It was a bold move, but one fraught with challenges. Somewhere in the background, you could almost hear a pirate saying, "Aye, matey, this treasure map has more holes than Swiss cheese." The road to Skull and Bones' release was anything but straightforward. Mismanagement plagued the project from the start, with frequent leadership changes and shifting creative visions. At one point, Ubisoft Singapore considered a fantasy setting inspired by Sid Meier's Pirates, while another iteration leaned heavily on strategy elements. None of these ideas stuck, and the game underwent multiple reboots. Rumor has it the team even contemplated a karaoke mode, where players sang sea shanties to power up their ships. By 2017, Ubisoft decided to model Skull and Bones after Rainbow Six Siege, focusing on session-based gameplay in the Indian Ocean. The studio showcased this vision at E3 2017, highlighting 5 versus 5 player battles, ship classes, and epic encounters with AI-controlled pirates and sea monsters. Yet behind the scenes, developers were already struggling to align their ambitions with the tools and tech at their disposal. Turns out, trying to train sea monsters while coding them isn't as easy as it looks. Ubisoft's decision to make Skull and Bones a live service game added another layer of complexity. The company envisioned a recurring revenue stream, with regular updates and monetization options like premium currencies and battle passes. However, creating a persistent world with dynamic storytelling proved daunting. Developers described a culture of indecision, with ideas constantly being scrapped or reworked. As one anonymous source put it, "We were either stuck in cycles of busy work or waiting for someone to make a decision." Sounds less like a pirate adventure and more like an office sitcom. Adding to the chaos was a toxic workplace culture at Ubisoft Singapore. Allegations of misconduct and poor management surfaced during the game's development, leading to high staff turnover. By 2020, the studio had become infamous for its inability to retain senior talent, further derailing progress on Skull and Bones. Despite these issues, the game's development continued. fueled in part by a reported deal with Singapore's Economic Development Board, which provided subsidies to support AAA games production in the region. At this point, it seems the only thing holding the ship together was duct tape and sheer stubbornness.
Experience and knowledge of the Indian Ocean to guide you in your quest for riches and infamy.
Skull and Bones faced delay after delay, with its release window shifting from 2018 to 2019, then to 2020 and beyond. Ubisoft finally committed to a February 2024 launch, nearly a decade after development began. By then, player expectations had waned and skepticism was high. The $70 price tag for a live service game, complete with microtransactions, only added fuel to the fire. Let's just say, the launch party probably featured more grog than cheers. When Skull and Bones finally set sail, it was met with lukewarm reviews. Critics praised the ship combat but criticized the repetitive missions, lackluster exploration, and absence of boarding mechanics. Players, too, were underwhelmed, with many lamenting the game's failure to capture the magic of Black Flag. Despite Ubisoft's hopes for a strong launch, the game reportedly attracted fewer than 1 million players in its first week, a dismal showing for a project with a $200 million budget. If disappointment were gold, this would have been the richest pirate crew in history. The tragic tale of Skull and Bones is emblematic of broader issues within Ubisoft. The company's penchant for chasing trends, coupled with unclear creative direction and a focus on monetization, has led to a string of misfires in recent years. Yet there's a glimmer of hope. Ubisoft has turned live service games around before, as evidenced by the success of Rainbow Six Siege. Whether Skull and Bones can chart a similar course remains to be seen. Though honestly, at this point, the game might need a resurrection spell more than a patch update. For now, it's a cautionary tale of what happens when ambition outpaces execution. A reminder that even the most promising voyages can end in shipwreck if the crew can't agree on a destination. Or, as a pirate might put it, even the best booty is useless if your compass points south. All right, folks, here we are at the end of this wild ride. And honestly, I never would have guessed that Skull and Bones would be the last one standing in 2024. Like really, of all the failed live service games, Concord, Suicide Squad, even the whole Eat the Rich vibe from Fair Game $. Yeah, that's a thing. Ubisoft's Skull and Bones is still here. It's not just surviving, it's getting another year of content. Another year. I mean, I thought this ship was sinking faster than my hopes on launch day. But here we are. They're even giving us new PvP modes and more lootable garbage. Treasures. I gotta say, that's a pirate move. Sure, they didn't exactly give us the full pirate fantasy we wanted, but they didn't abandon ship either. Props for keeping the dream alive, I guess? Maybe it's the least awful live service gamble of 2024? You tell me. Anyway, I'm signing off now. Before my ship completely falls apart, literally, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the turbulent waters of Skull and Bones. Don't forget to subscribe for more gaming deep dives and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, may your seas be calm and your treasure chests full.
Open waters, you'll come face to face with Skull and Bones' most visceral gameplay element, naval battles. Throughout the Indian Ocean, you'll encounter other players battling, exploring, and pursuing their own objectives. All contracts you take on can be progressed both in solo and in co-op. And if you find yourself facing overwhelming odds, you can fire a signal to rally nearby pirates to your cause, bringing players together to increase your chances of success.